What's up, man? Welcome back to another video, dog. Before we do anything else, all praise to the Most High. Today we have Friday Cast reveals 28 weird things you didn't know. I feel like it was probably a lot of weird things that we ain't know about. A lot of movies that came out. Let's get right into it.
Everybody, that was their first movie. Friday and
Started working with
Chan.
It's all about money. Rush Hour making $20 million. I wouldn't go back to Friday either.
The phone rings at 2 a.m. Ice Cube answers, half asleep and disoriented. On the other end, a studio executive delivers devastating news. They're pulling the plug. 20 years of negotiations, of fighting, of waiting, all gone in an instant. The final Friday movie is dead. But here's the thing. That midnight phone call isn't where this story begins. It's not even close to the middle. What you're about to discover will fundamentally change how you see one of the most beloved comedies ever made. We're talking about secret feuds that nearly destroyed the cast, tragic deaths that haunt the franchise to this day, a dinner party that literally saved the entire movie, and a $1 million mystery that confused fans for decades. These are the 28 secrets behind Friday that almost nobody knows about. And trust me, when we get to secret number 22, you won't believe what happened. Ready? Let's go. Secret number 1, the movie was born from pure rage. Everyone assumes Friday started as a lighthearted idea, just some guys wanting to make people laugh. That assumption is completely wrong. Ice Cube was angry, furious actually. In the early 1990s, every single movie about black Los Angeles neighborhoods showed the exact same thing. Violence, gangs, death, and endless despair. Films like Boys and the Hood and Colors had powerful messages, sure, but they only told one side of the story. Cube had even starred in Boys and the Hood, so he understood that world intimately. But here's what bothered him most. Where were the stories about laughter?
I would say it was never really a comedy.
On the porch, talking trash, just enjoying life. He and DJ Pooh remembered their childhoods in South Central differently than Hollywood portrayed it. Yes, there was struggle, but there was also joy, humor, and genuine community. They wanted to show the world something radical. You could live in the hood and still have a good day. So Friday wasn't just a comedy.
He's the one who's behind the scenes with stuff like that, and he helped me write Friday.
It was a mission statement, a middle finger to everyone who thought they knew what life in South Central was really like. Can you imagine the courage that took, trying to change an entire narrative with one movie? Secret number 2, Ice Cube's own team thought he'd lost his mind. When Cube announced he wanted to make a comedy, the people closest to him genuinely questioned his sanity. This was the hardcore rapper from NWA, the man behind politically charged albums like America's Most Wanted and Death Certificate. His music was raw, confrontational, and angry. When he released the song, It Was a Good Day, people in his own camp asked him why a hardcore rapper was talking about good days at all. Making a full comedy? That seemed like career
supposed to
suicide.
be pissed off every single day.
A response that silenced every critic. I'm a reality rapper, and
hey, let's talk about the fact that Ice Cube still looked the exact same age as he did in Friday. Maybe like 10 years, 5 years older. But other than the gray hair, we be dyeing your hair. Other than the gray hair, he still look about the same age, bro. He one of the people that do not age that much.
More than the tough guy persona everyone expected. This movie was his chance to prove it, to show he could make people laugh just as hard as he made them think. The question was, would anyone give him that chance? Secret number 3,
best movie ever made,
almost became reality. Here's something that sounds absolutely insane, but was completely real. Ice Cube and DJ Pooh were fully prepared to fund the entire movie using credit cards. They weren't joking around. They'd studied how Robert Townsend financed Hollywood Shuffle by maxing out multiple credit cards. They looked at how Kevin Smith made Clerks for practically nothing. Their plan was simple: shoot in one location, minimal cast, bare bones budget. They even seriously considered filming the entire movie in black and white, just like Clerks, to save money on film stock and lighting. Can you imagine Friday in black and white? The entire cultural landscape would be different. For weeks, this was the actual plan. Two guys from South Central ready to bet everything on a comedy script that studios would probably reject. Then New Line Cinema called, and everything changed. Secret number 4. Almost every character was a real person. This isn't widely known, but most fans don't realize just how deeply personal this script was. Craig getting fired on his day off for supposedly stealing boxes? That happened to Ice Cube's actual cousin who worked as a delivery driver. Word for word. That's how it went down. Smokey dealing weed and getting in over his head? Pulled straight from DJ Pooh's real experiences. Debo, the neighborhood bully who terrorizes everyone?
Our neighborhood, you know what I'm saying? It keeps us going. It keeps us, because if we wasn't laughing, we'd be crying.
Based on a real person they knew growing up. Craig's father, inspired by real father figures in their neighborhood. Even smaller characters, the crackhead, the persistent Felicia, the drug dealer Big Worm, all had roots in real people from South Central. This wasn't just a movie. It was Ice Cube and DJ Pooh's lives translated into comedy. Every joke, every interaction, every moment of tension came from something they'd actually witnessed or experienced. That's why the movie feels so authentic, because it is. Secret number 5. The studio crushed DJ Pooh's dream. Imagine writing a character based on your own life experiences, crafting every joke and mannerism, knowing exactly how this person would move and talk and react, and then being told you're not good enough to play the role. That's exactly what happened to DJ Pooh. He'd always planned to play Smokey. The character was literally him. His stories, his personality, his experiences dealing weed and navigating neighborhood politics. Who could possibly play it better? New Line Cinema had one word: no. They didn't think Pooh had enough acting experience. They wanted a bigger name, someone proven at the box office. So Pooh had to step back and accept the much smaller role of Red instead. Can you imagine how that felt? To have your own story taken away from you? But here's the remarkable...
But, hey, it's cool, though, because it was the perfect switch, dude. Chris Tucker couldn't play Red, and DJ Pooh could not play Smoke. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Chris Tucker took that role and made it his own. I don't think this movie would have did what it did if Chris Tucker ain't do what he did.
Pooh could have been bitter. He could have fought against the production or walked away entirely. Instead, he stayed supportive. He wanted the movie to succeed more than he wanted personal glory. That's the kind of integrity that made Friday possible.
Yes, sir.
Secret number 6. Chris Rock and Tommy Davidson almost changed everything. Before Chris Tucker became Smokey, the list of potential actors was wild. Chris Rock was seriously considered. Imagine his sardonic intellectual comedy style in that role. The entire energy would be completely different. Tommy Davidson was also in the running. His physical comedy and high energy could have worked, but it would have been a totally different character. But Ice Cube had seen someone else, a young comedian from Atlanta performing on Def Comedy Jam. Wild, unpredictable energy, street credibility mixed with genuine comedic talent. His name was Chris Tucker. Tucker had moved to Los Angeles in 1990 with nothing but dreams and determination. He was building a reputation on the comedy circuit, known for his manic energy and unique voice. Ice Cube was convinced this was their guy. He just had to prove it in the audition. How wrong could that assumption have been? Secret number 7. The audition was an absolute disaster. What happened next became legendary, but not for good reasons. Chris Tucker's first audition was, according to the casting director, horrible. He'd just come off the road from performing stand-up shows. He was exhausted, unfocused, and hadn't properly read the script. His performance was flat, the timing was off. The character that would make him famous was nowhere to be found. Ice Cube watched his perfect choice fall apart. The studio executives exchanged glances. This was not working. Most actors would have been dismissed right there. One chance, you blew it, goodbye. But something unusual happened that would change the course of cinema history. Secret number 8. A plate of spaghetti saved the movie. Director F. Gary Gray saw something others missed. Behind the exhaustion and poor preparation, there was raw talent, a spark of genius waiting to emerge. He fought for Tucker, convincing the skeptical studio to give him one more shot. But Tucker needed help. He was frustrated, scared, and completely unprepared. That's when an unlikely hero stepped in. Angela Means had just been cast as Felicia. She watched Chris Tucker struggling with the material and made a decision that would alter film history. She invited him to her house for dinner. Think about the courage that took. She was a new cast member herself, trying to secure her own place in the production. She had every reason to focus on her own performance, but she saw someone who needed help and reached out. According to Faizon Love, who played Big Worm, Tucker was terrified. He was worried that bigger stars like Dave Chappelle or D.L. Hewley would swoop in and steal the role he desperately wanted. Angela Means spent the entire evening working with him. They went through scenes together. She helped him understand the rhythm of the dialogue, the soul of the character, the world they were creating. By the time the spaghetti was gone, Chris Tucker was smoky. He went back for his second audition and absolutely destroyed it. The transformation was complete. One of the greatest comedic performances of the 90s was born over spaghetti in someone's kitchen because one actress cared enough to help. Secret number 9. Tucker's most famous lines were completely improvised. When you watch Friday, you're watching a script, but also a lot of magic that wasn't written down. Chris Tucker was given freedom to improvise, and he ran with it. Many of his most quotable moments were made up on the spot, spontaneous reactions that the camera happened to capture. The filmmakers recognized his genius and let him play. They'd film the scripted version, then let Tucker try variations. Some of his wildest riffs made it into the final cut, creating moments that feel alive and unpredictable. This wasn't random improvisation, though. Tucker understood the character so deeply that his spontaneous choices always felt authentic to Smokey. That's the mark of true talent. Secret number 10. Bye, Felicia. Was born from real annoyance. The most iconic line in the movie, the one that spawned countless memes and became part of everyday language, came from Angela Means breaking the script. Here's what was supposed to happen. Felicia walks up to the porch, talks to Craig and Smokey, asks for something, gets rejected, and leaves.
And I'm trying to, Worm. Niggas are broke these days.
I don't think you applying yourself, Smokey.
But Angela Means thought about her character. Who was Felicia, really? She decided Felicia would be the type of person who completely invades your personal space, who doesn't understand boundaries. So without telling anyone her plan, she sat down right between Ice Cube and Chris Tucker on that porch. Watched the scene again. Tucker's reaction, that shocked, irritated expression, isn't acting. He was genuinely annoyed that she sat down between them. That authentic moment of surprise made the scene legendary. Ice Cube's dismissive "Bye, Felicia" was the perfect response to Tucker's real frustration. The line that would echo through pop culture for decades came from a moment of genuine, unscripted irritation. Secret number 11. Ice Cube stayed completely sober on set. Everyone assumes Ice Cube and Chris Tucker were actually smoking weed during filming. That's completely false. Despite playing characters who spend the entire movie getting high, Cube made a firm decision. He would stay completely sober during production. Why? Because this was his first movie as a producer. He had a tiny budget of less than $3 million and only 20 days to shoot.
His take on his hometown of South Central LA.
Comedy is a big part.
There was zero room for error. He needed to be sharp, focused, ready to make critical decisions at any moment. Chris Tucker followed his lead. The professionalism on set was intense, even as they created comedy that looked effortless and spontaneous. Secret number 12. The budget was insanely small.
That's fire, bro. They that good. You really believe like they fried, bro. Like watching stuff like this, I kind of got mixed feelings about it because it be in the back of your mind while you watching the movie again. He wasn't actually hot, but I done took acting classes and stuff like that myself, so I know how this go. You got to be good to pull that off, bro. The budget was insanely small. He said $3 million. How much does it take to budget a movie like that?
Less than $3 million to make an entire movie. 20 days to shoot everything. For context, most Hollywood comedies at that time cost $20 to $50 million to produce. Friday was made for a fraction of that, with a schedule that would terrify most filmmakers. Every decision had to be strategic. Every shot had to count. There were no second chances, no reshoots, no room for expensive mistakes. The tight constraints actually made the movie better. It forced creativity and demanded efficiency. Secret number 13. Two future stars made their debuts.
Oh, yeah.
Hidden in Friday are two actors who would become major stars, though you might not notice them. A 13-year-old Megan Good played one of the kids on the street. Years later, she'd become a leading actress in films and television. And in a quick, uncredited appearance during a flashback scene, you can spot Michael Clark Duncan as a domino player. This was years before he'd become famous for The Green Mile. The movie was a launching pad for talent in ways nobody predicted. Secret number 14. John Witherspoon was paid.
This guy looks like somebody I know very well. Yes, I'm talking about you. Hey, long live John Witherspoon. That's everybody granddad.
Almost nothing.
Everybody granddad. That's my granddad
John
too.
Witherspoon, who gave us one
That's
of
my
cinema's most
granddad
memorable
too.
fathers, later revealed something shocking about the production. According to him, the main actors on Friday were each paid about $5,000.
Spend your own money.
How many kids you got? How old are they?
I have a kid that's 6 years old. I want him to get a job.
$5,000 for a movie that would gross over $27 million at the box office and become a cultural phenomenon worth hundreds of millions across its franchise. Witherspoon
Trust the
wasn't bitter
process.
about it. He understood it was a low-budget, independent film.
Trust
but it
the process.
shows just how unlikely this success story really was. Nobody knew they were creating a classic. They were just trying to make a good movie with almost no money. Secret number 15. The movie changed comedy forever.
Facts.
Before Friday,
To
hood
this
movies
day.
were serious. They were about tragedy, violence, struggle, and pain. Friday proved you could set a comedy in the same neighborhoods and tell authentic stories that were hilarious without being disrespectful. It opened doors for an entire generation of black comedies that followed. The Barbershop franchise, the Friday sequels, countless other films. They all owe a debt to what Ice Cube and this cast accomplished. Secret number 16. The $1 million mystery that shocked everyone. When Next Friday came out in 2000, fans were stunned. Smokey was gone. The dynamic duo was broken up. For years, nobody understood why Chris Tucker walked away from the role that made him a star. The mystery dominated conversations. Theories flew around, and the truth turned out to be more complicated than anyone imagined. Ice Cube's version of the story centered on money and religion. According to Cube, they offered Tucker somewhere between $10 to $12 million to return for the sequel. $12 million to reprise a character he'd already perfected. Tucker turned it down. Cube claimed it was because Tucker had become a devout Christian and no longer wanted to curse or smoke weed on camera, two of Smokey's defining characteristics. Secret number 17. Chris Tucker's side of the story changed everything. When Tucker finally spoke publicly about his decision, he confirmed the religious aspect but added crucial context. He said Friday had become such a phenomenon that he felt uncomfortable representing and encouraging everyone to smoke weed. The cultural impact was bigger than he'd anticipated.
Back then, I was like, I just want to do a good job on the movie and then move on to the next thing. Back then, that's how I was. It wasn't about money.
And he didn't want that responsibility. But there was more. Tucker said he simply wasn't interested in doing sequels. He wanted to do great work on a film and then move on to something new and different. Staying in one character felt limiting to his growth as an actor. He believed leaving Smokey behind was good for his career because it pushed him to take on diverse roles and challenge himself. And the timing was perfect.
And I was about to say, and it leaves that mystery of how good could it have been. Kind of like how Tupac left the world, long live Tupac as well. It's like he did what he came to do, and then it was gone. It's no like, yeah, the second movie wasn't as good as the first one. He didn't do this, none of that. No, I came, I performed, did a great job, and I dipped. You gonna remember me being legendary.
He was about to become a global superstar.
Sometimes stuff don't
Secret
need
number
a 2,
18,
3, 4.
The rush hour factor. John Witherspoon had his own theory about Tucker's departure, and it was brutally honest. Yes, the religious concerns were real. Yes, Tucker wanted to explore different roles. But there was another factor nobody wanted to say out loud. Chris Tucker was about to make $20 million per movie in the Rush Hour franchise. $20 million to star opposite Jackie Chan in action comedies that would make him an international superstar. Witherspoon joked that for that kind of money, he wouldn't have come back either. Can you really blame Tucker?
Not
The
at
Friday
all.
sequels were offering $10 to $12 million. Rush Hour was offering $20 million plus
Double
a
or almost
percentage of the
double.
profits. From
More
a pure
than double.
business perspective, the choice was obvious.
Yeah.
Secret number 19, the hidden feud nobody talked about. But money and religion weren't the whole story. There was something else, something most fans never figured out. There was a rift between Ice Cube and Chris Tucker after the first movie. Faison Love hinted at it in interviews. The tension was real, and it went beyond business decisions.
Right now, I think it's Chris.
Oh, Chris Tucker's coming back.
Yeah.
Oh!
At the heart of the conflict was a question that would poison their relationship. Who deserved credit for Friday's success? Secret number 20, the opening of...
Oh, that's a good question. Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to throw a curveball and say John Witherspoon. Huh. Yeah. For the shit show. Yeah. It wouldn't be what it is without Pops. 100%. Other than that, I don't know, man. I don't know. Because next Friday and Friday after next is just as big. Hey, just as big as Friday. So I don't know about Chris Tucker. That's a tough one right there. Yeah, that's a tough one right there.
Next Friday revealed
Everybody
everything.
did an amazing job.
The biggest clue to their feud was hidden in plain sight right at the beginning of Next Friday. There's a line in the movie about people trying to take credit for writing the original script. Since Chris Tucker improvised so many of his most famous lines, many believe this was a direct shot at him from Ice Cube. It suggests there was a falling out over creative ownership. Think about it. Tucker's spontaneous genius helped make the movie a classic. His improvisation created some of its most memorable moments.
Facts.
But the script, the vision, the world, that was Ice Cube's baby. Who deserves credit when improvisation becomes iconic? It's a question that destroyed their friendship. Secret number 21.
That's tough.
Tucker had created many of Smokey's best moments. This is where the conflict gets complicated, because Tucker had a legitimate point. Yes, Ice Cube and DJ Pooh wrote the script, but Tucker transformed Smokey through his performance, his improvised lines, his physical comedy, his unique voice and energy. These weren't in the original screenplay. You got knocked the F-bomb out. That became a cultural catchphrase. Was it scripted or improvised? Fans debate it to this day. Many of Smokey's reactions, his wild facial expressions, his spontaneous responses, all Tucker. So when Ice Cube claimed sole creative ownership, Tucker felt disrespected.
Yeah, I would
and when
too.
Tucker seemed to imply he'd made the movie what it was, Cube felt his vision was being minimized. It wasn't just a business decision.
Why can't we
It was
just
the end of a creative
both be great?
partnership and a friendship. Secret number 22. The cast started dying too
Straight
young.
legends, bro. Straight
The success
legends.
of Friday should have been pure celebration. Instead, it became haunted by tragedy. Bernie Mac, who played Pastor Clever in one of the film's funniest scenes, died in 2008 at just 50 years old from complications of
Long live
sarcoidosis, an autoimmune disorder.
Hollywood mourning the loss of comedian and actor Bernie Mac. The 50-year-old funny man died Saturday at a Chicago hospital.
Before his death, Mac had become a comedy legend. He'd starred in the original Kings of Comedy and his own beloved sitcom, The Bernie Mac Show. His journey was incredible. He'd grown up with a tough childhood in Chicago and was inspired to become a comedian after watching his cancer-stricken mother laugh at Bill Cosby on TV. He vowed to make people laugh so his mother would never have to cry again. He kept that promise. Secret
Real
number
one.
23. John Witherspoon's death broke hearts.
Long live John
In
Witherspoon,
2019,
bro.
John Witherspoon passed away at age 77 from a heart attack. The loss devastated fans and the cast. Witherspoon wasn't just an actor. He was a comedy legend who'd started his career in the 1960s, coming up alongside giants like Richard Pryor and David Letterman. He brought that lifetime of experience to every role, from the Wayans brothers to his voice work as Granddad on the Boondocks. His character in Friday, the father who dispenses street wisdom while sitting on the toilet, became iconic. His timing, his delivery, his presence were irreplaceable. Ice Cube has said repeatedly that one of his biggest regrets is not getting to make one more Friday movie with Witherspoon. The chemistry between father and son in the original film was lightning in a bottle, and it can never be recreated. Secret number 24. Tiny Listers. Passing. Shocked everyone.
Tiny, bro.
Tommy, Tiny Lister Jr., who terrified the neighborhood as Debo, died in 2020 at age 62 from cardiovascular disease.
Actor Tommy Lister has died at the age of 62.
Before acting, Lister was a college shot put champion and a professional wrestler known as Zeus, who famously feuded with Hulk Hogan. He was born blind in his right eye, which gave him his unique and intimidating look on screen. Ice Cube called him America's favorite bully and a good dude at heart. The man who played the most feared character in the movie was, in real life, one of the kindest. What many people don't know is that Lister almost didn't get the role of Debo. The casting directors were initially looking for someone even bigger and more physically imposing. But Lister brought something they hadn't expected.
How big you
He
are?
made Debo
7'3"?
funny. The way he delivered lines like, "What bike?" turned what could have been a one-dimensional villain into a character people loved to hate. Secret number 25. A.J. Johnson's death revealed a hidden struggle. In 2021, Anthony A.J. Johnson, who played the hilariously clumsy thief Ezal, passed away at 55. His death was caused by multi-system organ failure after years of chronic alcohol use. A reminder that behind the laughter, many performers struggle with demons the audience never sees. Johnson was a stand-up comedian and actor who'd also appeared in House Party. Ice Cube expressed sadness that he was never able to bring Ezal back for one final movie. Johnson's performance as Ezal was pure physical comedy. The way he moved, the crazy expressions, the desperation in his voice when he was caught stealing, it was all perfectly calibrated. He studied classic comedians like Red Fox and Red Skelton to develop Ezal's unique style of humor. Cast members have shared that Johnson was one of the funniest people on set, even when cameras weren't rolling. His loss was felt deeply by everyone who knew him. Secret number 26. Angela Means' painful secret. Perhaps the most surprising untold story belongs to Angela Means, the actress who played Felicia. For her, the iconic "Bye Felicia" line became both a blessing and a curse.
Queer.
Bye, Felicia.
Means was a serious actress who created an intense backstory for her character. She imagined Felicia as a kind but troubled person, misunderstood by her family and neighbors. She brought depth to what could have been a throwaway role. But as the "Bye Felicia" meme exploded in popular culture, something terrible happened. People began harassing her in public. She has emotionally recalled how strangers would yell insults at her on the street, calling her degrading names from the movie. The line that made her famous also brought her years of pain. She felt dismissed, disrespected, reduced to a punchline. The character she'd carefully crafted became a symbol for dismissing people, and by extension, she felt dismissed herself. Today, Means has found healing. She runs a successful vegan restaurant called Jackfruit Cafe, focusing on nourishment and wellness. She's working to reshape Felicia's legacy, showing her as a symbol of resilience, not just a meme. Her journey is a powerful reminder that actors are real people, and the characters they play can have unexpected consequences in their real lives. Secret number 27. The 20-year war for the final movie. For 2 decades, fans begged for one more Friday movie, and for 2 decades, Ice Cube had to disappoint them. The project wasn't just delayed, it was held hostage. DJ Pooh revealed that a movie executive was blocking the franchise. Ice Cube was in a public battle with Warner Brothers over the rights to the very characters and world he'd created. The studio owned the rights. Cube felt they didn't understand the movies or respect the legacy. He refused to make a final film under their creative control and fought to get the rights back so he could do it his way. It was David versus Goliath,
it's
an artist
always
fighting
the
a
bigger
corporation
companies
for ownership of his own creation. For 20 years, it seemed like a losing battle. Ice Cube would give interviews promising the movie was coming soon, only to have deals fall apart behind the scenes. Fans grew frustrated, wondering if they'd ever see Craig in the neighborhood one last time. Secret number 28, the miracle that just happened. Then in 2024, everything changed. New leadership arrived at Warner Brothers, and suddenly there was movement. The new executives seemed to understand what the franchise meant to people and to culture. After more than 20 years of waiting, the news finally broke in 2025. A deal was officially closed. Ice Cube would write and star in the fourth and final film, officially titled Last Friday. And the news got even better. Faison Love confirmed that after decades of holding out, Chris Tucker is expected to return to the franchise. Smokey is finally coming back, but the reunion will be bittersweet. John Witherspoon, Tiny Lister, A.J. Johnson, and Bernie Mac can never be part of this final chapter. There will be empty chairs at the table. The final film will be a celebration of the characters we love and a tribute to the legends we've lost. The legacy that lives forever. What started as two friends from South Central wanting to show a different side of their neighborhood became a cultural phenomenon that defined a generation. Friday proved that comedy could come from anywhere. That laughter existed even in places the world only wanted to show as tragic. It launched careers, created legends, and gave us lines we still quote 30 years later. But behind the scenes were battles for respect, heartbreaking personal losses, feuds that tore friends apart, and a 2-decade struggle to finish the story. The cast fought for recognition. They dealt with tragedy. Some found redemption, others carried pain. But through it all, the movie they made together remained a testament to what's possible when artists tell their own stories on their own terms. Regina King went on to win an Oscar. Nia Long became a film icon. Ice Cube built an empire, proving he could succeed in music, film, and business. Chris Tucker became a global superstar, even if it meant leaving Smokey behind.
Ain't like you got shit to do tomorrow. You don't have to go to work. Don't take a hit.
I got a drink.
Come, Craig.
Each cast member's journey reminds us that success is complicated, that fame comes with a price, and that the bonds formed during those 20 days of shooting in 1995 would last a lifetime, for better and for worse. Now, after 30 years, we're finally getting that last chapter. One final good day. And when you watch Last Friday, remember, you're not just watching a comedy sequel, you're watching the conclusion to a journey that started with anger, was built on improvisation and spaghetti dinners, survived feuds and tragedy, and ultimately proved that sometimes the most important stories are the ones the world says you can't tell. What secret surprised you the most? Are you ready for Smokey's return? Did you know?
I'm ready for my appearance. I don't know nothing. With the casting auditions. Why I wasn't told about this? Where the casting auditions at? Put me in there. Put me in, coach. Oh, you think I'm joking? I'm dead ass. What? What's the joke called? I'm SAG after whatever. And I ain't union. What you want to do? Hey, you talking about what? I need a headshot. Here you go. All right, come on, bro. Put me in. Come on, man. With the casting auditions. All right, I'm finna get all this video and do some research on it now because I'm kicking in the door. You got me messed up. What? Hey, Ice Cube. O'Shea Jackson Jr. Somebody. Chris Tucker. Hello. I'll catch y'all in the next one, man. Eat fruit, follow your dreams, get millions, and shit.